Welcome to Civic Waves. I'm your host, Mir.I.am. Each week, we sit down with leaders shaping our communities, from city officials to statewide voices, to talk about how decisions are made, why they matter, and how everyday people can stay connected to what's happening around them. Today, we are joined by Durham Mayor Williams. He was elected mayor in 2023 of December after serving on the Durham City Council. He's currently in his second term, leading one of North Carolina's most talked about and creative cities. Before public office, he was an educator, a school administrator, entrepreneur, and proud NCCU alum. Now, the conversation that we're going to have today comes at a critical moment for Durham. The city is celebrating growth, culture, entrepreneurship, civic pride, but also facing some serious questions about violence, housing affordability, and environmental concerns. And we're so happy to have you. Thank you for joining us, Mayor Williams.
Thanks for having me. Really grateful to be here and talk to the people, talk to the culture, talk to the community. Really excited.
We're super excited to have you here, and you are super busy, so thank you for taking the time. You was on conference calls on the way in, so we appreciate you taking the time. Now, before we get into the issues, right now, how are you feeling about Durham? Not just as mayor, but as somebody who lives there, who works there, raises a family, and deeply loves the city. How are you feeling about it?
Yo, I feel great about Durham.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, we have our issues, we have our complications, but those issues don't define us. How we overcome those issues do. And that's why we're punching well above our weight as a city. Like, just think about it. Look what's happening across the country. Look at the Midwest.
Yeah.
They're experiencing population decline. The West Coast is dealing with climate like we've never seen it before. We are the perfect mix of all things.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are growing. We're growing. We're experiencing the growing pains, don't get me wrong, but we cannot ask for a better situation, a higher ed pedigree that is, it's the reason why we're the second most educated populace in America. It's the reason why, we're the second most resilient, automation-ready, future-ready, climate sustainability-ready city in the entire country, next to New York. Yeah, so
that's incredible. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, another study just came out that we have 176 startup founders that are living in Durham that are operating companies valued at $100 million plus. So, yeah, we might be known as the city of medicine, but we're also the city of culture, the city of opportunity. We're doing it. So I'd rather, if I could be a father or a husband, an elected official, an educator, entrepreneur, elected official anywhere, I'm so grateful that it's in Durham.
I love Bull City. It has a different feeling to it. When you come to Durham, you know it when you feel it.
That's right.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on in Durham right now. Yeah. Budget.
Yeah.
How you feeling about it?
It's a tough situation right now.
Yeah.
We because we're a city that's responsive to our citizenry. We hear the concerns and outcry of our people, and we try to address it. But it comes with its limitations.
Yeah.
And we don't deal well with limitations. We're a defiant city. And so we push ourselves to the limit to find a way forward, and that's exhausting, but it's a necessity.
Is there anything with the budget that you wish had been able to happen?
Well, we're still in the budget proceedings. We're still in the process. The sausage-making process is happening right now.
Yeah.
And, the manager ballots the budget. I don't know how he did it, but, we have competing priorities. Right now, we have a slate of what I would call cultural nonprofits that are slated to be cut completely.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with that. Folks go back and listen. I used the example of Kent Street, and in Durham is an area where you enter Kent Street from the Rockwood neighborhood, and it's $1 million homes, beautiful neighborhood, four-way stop signs, safety measures, speed humps, and then that's about halfway down. The next half is where a historic Black community, the Lime Park community, West End community, and it's no safety measures, no speed humps, just a wide highway that's dangerous. People start speeding when they get down there, and the city hasn't responded to that need, and they've been asking. And so one thing that the city did was say, look, we're going to obtain a lease in the community center to invest over here, to start investing. And that lease is worth $191,000. Well, it's slated to be cut to zero. And I'm not okay with that. So, it's like, I know it's only $191,000 out of an $800+ million budget, but
makes a difference.
It matters.
Yeah.
It matters. And so, we also have a massive investment in the homeless reduction strategy. But what about violence crime reduction strategy? There are a lot of things we have to be fully honest with. And yeah, I know we have the reflection of the council and their priorities, but it is very clear clear what the community is asking for, and we need to make sure we listen to that over our own personal political agendas.
Yeah.
You can't ignore violent crime reduction. You can't ignore youth crime reduction. You can't ignore our cultural organizations being slated to zero while you get what you want in something that your small political group asked for. And so I'm just calling us out about that. I'm being very honest about it. And we had a $10 million deficit in the transit fund, but we don't charge for buses. So I support fare free buses for the record when we can afford it.
Right.
I support the Durham minimum living wage at $25 an hour when we can afford it. But I'm not willing to lose bodies for the sake of funding outside organizations to stay fully staffed. And right now, there are 2 law firms that we're funding outside of the city for, one for immigrant affairs, one for eviction diversion. And while those things are very important, eviction diversion is a duplication of services because in our new community safety department, they're doing that already. So how are we putting $1 million over there funding a law firm when we could be actually doing it in-house and supporting residents, working with landlords and service and directly supporting residents? Instead, we're paying a law firm. And it's just making it very complicated. So we have some things to work out. I'll try to get votes to support us being more financially responsible, but you got to have 4 out of 7 at the minimum, at the least.
So going back to you being a mayor, like a lot of people, they listen and they hear these terms and they go through their everyday life and they're like, oh yeah, that's the mayor, that's the governor, that's who, Can you break down what exactly does a mayor do? Like what are your roles and responsibilities?
So, I appreciate that question because that's a question that speaks to most people. I get in my inbox and people DM me all the time, why don't you be more like the Baltimore mayor? So now I have to give a civics lesson. Right. Maryland is a 100% home rule state, which means that the mayors there are executive mayors, which means they can make sole decisions. Their council serve as like a Congress. Well, in a Dillon rule state like North Carolina, we're 100% Dillon rules. That means we're the exact opposite, meaning I have no executive powers. I have no veto power. I have no additional vote. I have one equal vote like everyone else on my council. So actually, when you run for mayor in North Carolina, you're putting yourself up in a structural disadvantage because people are going to have the expectation for you to do what the superpowers are of mayors when you have no powers. It's a glorified level equivalent to your other colleagues. You're basically the biggest cheerleader unless you learn how to influence through the power of perception. And that's what I've sort of mastered in a sense to my own demise in some cases. People think
they're coming to you for everything.
People think I can make anything happen because it looks that way or it feels that way. They see me walking in the room. Fest tickets? They see me walking in the room with my staff and they're like, oh my God, that's the mayor. People want to take selfies. They want me to sign autographs. And it's like, Mayor, can I get a job? Yeah, just go on the city and apply, on the city website and apply. Yeah. Oh, but I saw this, you all are hiring in the community safety department. We are? Right. And they're confused that I'm not knowing what they're talking about. But in North Carolina, elected officials, we just do policy. We do not do operations at all. So if there's a department that's hiring, we wouldn't even know. I found out when I see it online or somebody texts me. So just so folks can know, I do have the power to convene. People answer my call. From every CEO in the region to every grandma on the front porch. People will answer the mayor's call. And I have that power to bring us all together. And that phrase, power of the people, mayors have the ability to truly activate the power of the people. And I do it all the time. The Bull City Future Fund, raising $1 million to invest in our kids. I didn't want that to be in the city budget because then I got to compete with bike lanes and everything else. But I was able to bring the people together to say, we want to invest in our young people. Raised $1 million, and now I'm raising $9 million for the Invest America accounts. So that's what I can do. I can bring people together to support a cause and solidify issues. No, I cannot I'm not going to defund the police. I can't just defund the police. Right. And no, I'm not just going to overly fund one department over another. I don't fund departments. We set the budget that the manager proposes. We do the sausage making, but unfortunately, it's not what you see on TV. I'm not the mayor of Kingstown. I'm the mayor of the Bull City.
That's fair. And I'm glad that you made that distinction because it's so important for people to know what it is that you do and that, yes, you are speaking up for us when you get in these spaces.
I do represent us.
Yes.
I've represented us in Madrid 4 weeks ago. I travel around the world to represent Durham because Durham is one of the leading cities in the nation. We're like the 71st largest city in the country, but we're like number 2 we're in the top 5 on so many categories. So people reach out and they're like, okay, so you're the voice, the face, the representative of the city. So I do represent us in that light, but the manager is who I hire to run the day-to-day operations.
That's fair, and it makes sense. Now, I want to go back to something that you mentioned because I saw an article on it and I thought it was really interesting, the Invest America Durham program. So can you tell us a little bit about that program?
Yeah. Another thing about being mayor is you have to have the courage to lead through the noise. You have to lead out loud. And I think it's very clear I'm not okay with what's happening nationally in our national politics. I do not agree with President Trump on just about everything. But some time ago, Brad Gerstner, who's this tech guy out of Silicon Valley, he created with Bill and Hillary Clinton during their administration what's called Invest America Foundation. And it was for, it all happened when he was sitting around the table. He had opened up these bank accounts because he had come across some money. He opened up these bank accounts for his sons when they were kids, his two sons. And when they turned 18, they had a celebration over dinner around the dinner table of how much money those accounts had accrued, had compounded. And one of his sons said, "Dad, wow, this is amazing. But what about the kids who don't have these accounts?" And that was the birth of Invest America. They said, well, let's invest in America. And so he went to the Clintons. They loved the idea, but it was unfortunately when Clinton was headed out. So went to Bush. Bush wanted to do it, President Bush, but the Republicans in Congress didn't want it. They said it's going to be a threat to Social Security. And then came Obama, and Obama had his priorities already. This just didn't make it up to the top. And here comes Trump, won. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. And then here comes Biden. Biden said, yes, we can do it, but only for households under a certain amount. That was just so granular. They couldn't like really pull it together, basically. Here comes Trump 2, and it was an opportunity to celebrate America's 250th birthday. You know, he's all in the branding and stuff.
Right.
So he said, I will do this if we can put $250. No, he said, I can do it. We'll do it if I can call it Trump accounts. And Michael and Susan Dale.
I know y'all can't see me. I just eye rolled.
I know. So this is something I had to really stomach, right? So Michael and Susan Dale said, look, we don't care, whatever. We'll put up $9 billion as long as every kid in America, 10 and under, can have an account with $250 in it to celebrate the birthday. But Trump said, well, every kid born under my administration gets $1,000. He wanted to one-up the Democratic person, you know,
Right.
the Democratic
Of
folks,
course.
Michael and Susan Dale.
Of
So, okay, fine. And Brad Gerson was like, I don't care what y'all do. I just want to make sure this is available for the country's kids, the country's young people. Brad lives in Silicon Valley, but his girlfriend, his partner, Katie, lives in Durham.
Okay.
And a friend of mine walked into a bar and saw Brad having dinner with his girlfriend. And it's like, oh my God, Brad Gerstner. And Ryan saw him, and they called me the next day and said, hey, can we all grab coffee? I went and grabbed coffee. And me being who I am, I said, you know what? Let's do it for the whole city.
Yeah.
And so Brad said, wow, no mayor has done that yet. I said, well, this one will. And we did the planning, and he flew back in, and we held it at Murray-Massenburg Elementary, and the principal said, I'm game. The superintendent, I'm game. I called the state treasurer. I said, you are a Republican, I'm a Democrat. Let's show this state how we can work together. He said, Mayor, I'll follow your lead. I said, we're going to do this no matter who says what.
Right.
And I got all these calls. How dare you do something that has Trump's name on it? And
I can only imagine.
I said, do you think I care whose name is in front of the word account? If I can make sure every kid, all 63,000 kids in the city of Durham has an account that compounds over time?
Yeah.
I said, I'm not going to let my ego get in the way. I'm going to launch this. I'm going to launch a $9 million campaign to match every single kid 10 and under who already has $250 in their account. And we held it, and Brad said, you know what, Mayor, for your leadership and for Durham being the first, I'll match it.
Wow.
And so every kid in this school, all 700 of them, will get an additional $250. So in Murray-Massenburg School, every kid is signing up right now. They sign up at, you can go to trumpaccounts.gov, or you can go to investamerica.org, it'll take you there. But you just, if you're 17 and under, go get your account. And you're 10 and under, you're going to get, you're going to have $250 waiting on you that compounds over time. You can't get access to it until 18, So it's financial literacy that goes with it. And if you're a newborn or born under the Trump's administration, you get $1,000. But it's free money,
Yeah.
And so I'm leading that initiative in Durham, raising $9 million and doing a sign-up campaign for every kid to be able to get it. And that's what I'm focusing on now. And we're branding it as Invest America Durham.
Mm-hmm.
It was just recently featured yesterday, actually, on CNBC.
I understand sometimes you got to do stuff for the greater good.
Yeah.
And, and for the greater gain,
Yeah.
having an account. I would have liked to have had an account when I was younger.
It's going to change the financial trajectory of
really,
every family in the city of Durham.
So just to confirm, so the newborns that are born under Trump administration, they get $1,000.
They get $1,000.
And then so who gets the $250?
Any kid 3 years old to 10 years old right now.
And then that's going to be matched.
No, it'll be $250. Now, the kids in Durham is going to be matched. So every kid 3 to 10 years old in Durham will get $500 because we're matching the $250.
Oh, wow.
Every kid 11 to 17, if I meet my $9 million goal, my next goal is another like 20 million or whatever. And we'll be able to ensure those kids get it as well.
Wow, that's awesome. And where can parents that want to hear this and they want to get signed up, where can they go?
So right now we are playing. That's the conference call I was on when I walked in here. We are actually rolling out the plan to show people how to sign up, where to go. We're building out the website Invest America Durham. But right now you can go to investamerica.org and start signing up, or you can go to trumpaccounts.gov and start signing up. But we're working with United Way. You can go to bullcityfuturefund.com.
Okay.
bullcityfuturefund.com and notate the Invest America.
Okay.
Yep. But kids should definitely, parents should start signing up right now. It's free money.
Yeah.
No strings attached.
Yeah. Take advantage of it while you can. Now, you have built a lot of your message around civic pride, the phrase Durham is dope, which it really is. How do you balance celebrating Durham's growth and culture while still being honest about the violence and some of the affordability and trust in government?
Yeah. So honesty and transparency and vulnerability is that Durham is dope. Like, we are one of the hottest spots in America. Mm-hmm. Like we're a foodie town. We're the foodiest town in the South,
Yeah.
And we have so many things going for us, but when you're hot like that, everybody wants to come there. Everyone wants to move there. And so you got to have enough housing. If you don't, then it's going to be an arms race of the haves and the have-nots. Mm-hmm. And what we're experiencing is people who have been in Durham all their lives. They've never lived anywhere else, and they're like, "Wait, things are changing. I'm not used to this. Who are these people coming into my space?"
Right.
You have that dynamic, and then you have the people who moved here 5 years ago that are like, "Oh, y'all, we're growing too fast." Like, well, you were the problem 5 years ago,
right?
And then you have the people that's like, "Oh my God, this is the best place I've ever lived." Like, wow, Durham is so cool, and all of that. When you go from 282,000 people, like just under 10 years ago, to like now 325,000, that is unusual, fast-paced growth.
Wow.
It's hard for anybody to handle that. Mm-hmm. So you see all this changing that's happening, but if you have a little homelessness, the higher your population, the more homelessness you're going to have. Mm-hmm. If you have a little violence, Durham used to have a lot of violence. Yeah. And we didn't really focus on it as much. We wanted to reduce it, but it was like, we need more police to address that. Well, now we have way more resources to address, and that's why, we're growing fast. We're seeing crime, but it's down 17%.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
but
good.
I can't celebrate that if the people who are still dying, who are getting shot, who are shooting, look like me. So I celebrate it with a grain of salt. Like, hey, crime is down, but I'm not celebrating, guys. I'm just letting you know a reality. It's still up too high for me, for my comfort. And so I continue to, invest in our young people. We have a homeless reduction strategy that we're about to roll out. We have a violent crime reduction strategy that we're building out right now. And next year, you're going to hear a really robust economic development plan that we're going to be rolling out. I've been working my tail off to get new employers in the city, which is landed AbbVie, the largest investment in the city's history, $1.4 billion with a B.
Oh, wow.
Dollars. And the lowest paid salary. People always talk about the median. No, the lowest paid salary is $77,000. And all you need is a high school diploma or a 2-year certification. And our community college is set up to be a workforce development engine. So,
that's impressive.
As a former
educator, exciting too.
Yeah, as a former educator, I'm like, I know what it takes, and I also know that, we have young people that make mistakes. I made mistakes. I just didn't get caught,
Right.
And so when, you make those sometimes life-altering mistakes and you can't go to college, you end up working at fast food, low wages, but you're human and you're capable. When we bring an employer like AbbVie to Durham, that's a game changer, because guess what? We just approved nearly 1,000 housing units over there. So all those knuckleheads that might be staying in mama's house, they get to move out and get their own place now.
That's life-changing.
They become participating citizens of this community, tax participating, paying their taxes, which is generating more revenue for the city.
Yeah, and allowing more things to be done.
Yeah.
More on the way with Mayor Leo Williams from the Bull City in minutes on Civic Waves.